Good morning and happy June. As you can see, I got a haircut because it's almost summer. It was much needed. But I'm here in my backyard. Thought I would go over the 12 books that I read in May. I forgot to get them. I don't have a physical copy of all of them or most of them. So I am just going to be talking and we're going to have a conversation about that. And I just won't actually physically show you the books. So we'll start with the first one, which was, I'm going kind of backwards, like I'm going from the last book I read to the first book I read in May. The last book I read was an audiobook. It's called Karen, A Brother Remembers by Kelsey Grammer. I don't rate memoirs. This was a memoir. It was about the tragic story of his sister's death and how he coped with it. I thought it was very, very deep and just profound. I did feel like it was a bit long. I felt like he rambled a lot. I do love Kelsey Grammer as a narrator though. He's got a great voice. No wonder he was a guy that played on a show where he was a radio psychologist. It totally makes sense. Anyway, so I will say my rating, which is none for this book, then I will give you my favorite quote. So here we go. The business of death is comforting in a way. It distances the grief with task and planning, distracting from the hole that has been left by the loss of a loved one. The second book I read was Blood Over Bright Haven. This was a book club book I had to read. It's by M.L. Wang. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was very well written. It was very exciting. The first half of the book was a little hard to get into because it's fantasy and I'm not really much of a fantasy girly. But you know, I trust my book club and I figured, oh, this is probably going to end up being a book that I like. And then towards the end, yep, it was a book that I like. So sometimes that's why I like being part of book clubs, because you may not think you would, it's not like a book that you would pick up on your own, but if you're forced to read it, then it's kind of like in school. Sometimes you're forced to read those books and you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, and then you actually end up enjoying it. So, yeah, I gave that one 4 stars. This is gonna be a long quote, but here we go. Brilliant men, even moderately intelligent men in this city get landed on knees of opportunity to succeed. Brilliant women have to fight for those opportunities, and when we get them, we have to defend them tooth and nail, or truly be sheltered away. Then we have Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid, my all-time favorite author. Her book is coming out on Tuesday, which would be tomorrow, and I am going to pick it up because she's one of those authors, if a book is released, getting the new copy right away as soon as I can. This one was an audiobook I read. Gave it 5 stars. Of course, I don't think there is a Taylor Jenkins Reid book where I don't. So here we go. It doesn't matter if we don't mean to do the things we do. It doesn't matter if it was an accident or a mistake. It doesn't even matter if we trouble this all to another date, because regardless of our destiny, we have to answer to our own actions. All right. Now this is a little sidetrack. I took a What is Your Reading Color quiz that was suggested by one of the booktubers I watched, said Bookworm, and in it you can take this quiz and there's like a certain number of colors like red, blue, purple, yellow, and you can determine what kind of color reader you are. Turns out I am a purple reader, so I'll tell you what that means. The Unbound Innovator, a bold, unconventional diver who thinks on experimental, expunging, and open-defying narratives. They read to challenge norms, stretch their imaginations, and fuel ready creativity. after finishing a book, they want to feel interested, awake, and creative. So these are all purple reads. The first purple read, actually it's the last purple read I read because we're going backwards, remember? This is Life of Pi by Yann Martel. I know, it was a book that was very popular in the early 2000s, and I think there was a movie in 2011 that I watched after I read it, and I really enjoyed it, but I never thought to read it. But again, they suggested it to me, so I thought I would, and I'm glad I did. I gave it 4 stars. Okay, here's my favorite quote. Love is hard to believe. Ask any lover. Life is hard to believe. Ask any scientist. God is hard to believe. Ask any believer. What is your problem with hard to believe? Then I listened to Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jesse Q. Sutanto. That one I gave 4 stars. It's an audiobook, as I mentioned. Don't really have a quote from it. I just felt it was a comforting listen. I love to listen to it when I'm reading or when I'm working. It just kind of made me feel happy. It's one of those comfort reads. Then I read Slaughterhouse 5, which was part of the Purple Read suggestions. It's by Kurt Vonnegut, very famous writer who actually went to the university I did. Gave this one 5 stars. And this is a classic for a reason. I don't know, I haven't read any of his stuff before. I will definitely read more of his stuff, as he just has a way with writing and sucking you into a story and making you feel a certain way. It's an anti-war book, but it's really well written. So here we go. That's one thing Earthlings might learn to do. Ignore the awful times and concentrate on the good ones. This is my last purple read I was suggested, which was Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Again, another author that you hear about that has literary merit, but I would never think to read it on my own. Gave this one 4 stars. It's about a guy who wakes up one day. He's a traveling salesman. He wakes up one day. He becomes this cockroach-like creature. He stays in his room. He's embarrassed of himself. He feels bad about himself and who he is. And his family, just kind of shuts him out. And then, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, it's just, I think it's a comment on, what we deem important in life and who we deem to be worthy of life. And yeah, it was only it was a novella, so it was only 80 pages. It's well written, so I gave it 4 stars. Now, this is one book I read off of a TBR prompt, and it was read a book with an animal on the cover. Actually had a wolf on the cover. It's called Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. It's a horror book. I gave this one 4 stars. This is a long quote, so here we go. If I butcher it, I'm sorry, my notes here, it's kind of scribbly, so but here we go. There's no winning. The trauma is either your fault or it's a gift. It's either you should have done this to stop it, or look what good has come out of it. If you get over it, if you don't get over it, why can't you get over it? Why can't you get past it and learn to cope? Or if you find some way to move on in your life in a socially acceptable manner, then you're so brave and so strong. And aren't you amazing? Let's applaud you for moving forward when there's a knife at your back. Then I listened to Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. It's also an audiobook. Gave that one 3 stars. I'm gonna chill with the Riley Sager books for now because I just realized, yeah, I like thrillers and he's a good author to read if you're kind of in a reading slump. But I think there's something lacking with his books for me. I don't know what it is, but it's a fast read, fast listen, whatever, and you get into the story, but some is just like this one, I thought it was too long, and I thought it was just I don't know. I felt like he kind of uses the same tropes in his book, which is fine. Yeah, I mean, it helped pass the time when I was working. But anyway, I did find a quote. Sometimes weird isn't so bad. The next book I read was Bull Moon Rising by Ruby Dixon. Now, you know she's one of my favorite authors. Give this one 5 stars. I don't have a particular quote. I'm surprised I don't. But it was so good to read. I loved it. I love this world. I love this universe. It reminded me of Legends of Lattes, that kind of universe. And then just like, I love the strong female characters she always has. Very enjoyable to read. So, next one I have is The Night Swim. This is another audiobook by Megan Golden. Gave this one 4 stars. I thought it was a good listen. I did think some of it was kind of predictable, but still was interesting. So here's my quote. If every woman who felt afraid called 911, the switchboard would melt. All right, then we have Enchantra. This one I gave 5 stars. Enchantra. So that is the second book in the Phantasma series by Kaylee Smith. Just every book in this series is 5 stars for me. Well, there's only 2 right now, but I just eat up this world. I just love being a part of it. I love immersing myself into it. So I do have a quote here. It's rather long, so bear with me. Like I said, I wrote this all down, so some of the writing is kind of scribbly and it's hard to read, but I will try. She kept herself surrounded with fair weather companions and meaningless lovers anytime the loneliness became particularly cold. But all of them had been like striking a match, warm for a short, blissful second, only to burn out quickly before being tossed away. None of these people had ever truly understood anything about her. They knew what she let them, nothing more. Lately it had been the same with Ophelia. Maybe Rowan were to be able to get to know the real her. Maybe they would win the hunt, free him from the current, and then decide excitedly how entangled the world would be to become. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble about my May books. So for June, this is a month, to me, it's the start of summer. So I want to read these cozy, fun romance books. There are a couple books. I mentioned the Taylor Jenkins Reid book coming out tomorrow, but there's also another one by Ashley Poston coming out on June 17th that I will read. So we do have a few new releases that I want to get to, and yeah, I want to knock back my TBR. And I think, like, I've kind of realized you don't need TBR prompts. If you really are in the mood to read the books off of your TBR, then I don't think you need those prompts. I think those prompts are to help you, like, okay, fine, I'll read this, I'll see what it's like, you know. So that's that. I will see you in another month, or maybe soon, we'll see. But thank you. Have a blessed June.